Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. And today guys, we are reading chapter 13 of Racing in the Rain. And guys, I hope you're enjoying this book so far. And yeah, let's get started. Chapter 13. Dennett had started to act oddly. The clues were all over there. I simply hadn't read them correctly over the winter. He had played a video racing game obsessively, which wasn't like him. He had never gotten into racing games. But that winter, he played the game every night after Eve went to bed. After Eve went to bed. Where am I? After Eve went to bed. And he raced on the American circuits only, Street, Petersburg, and Laguna Seca, Road, Atlanta, and Mid-Ohio. I should have known just for seeing the tracks he was racing. He wasn't playing a video game. He was studying the circuits. He was learning turning points and braking points. I heard him talk about how accurate the backgrounds are on these video games, how drivers have found the games can be quite helpful for getting acquainted with new racetracks. But I never thought and his diet. No alcohol, no sugar, no fried foods. His exercise routine, running several days a week, swimming at the Medgar Ever pools, and lift weights in the garage of the big guy down the street. Denny had been preparing himself. He was lean and strong and ready to battle in a race car. And I had missed all the signs, but then I believed I had been duped. Because when he came downstairs with his track bag packed the day in March, Zoe seemed to know all about his leaving. He had told them. He hadn't told me. The parting was strange. Zoe was both excited and nervous. Eve was somber, and I was utterly confused. Where was he going? I raised my eyebrows, lifted my ears, and cocked my head. I used my facial gesture at my disposal in an attempt to glean information. Sebring, he said to me, reading my mind, the way he does sometimes. I looked the seat in the touring car. Didn't I tell you? The touring car. But I was something, he said, he could never do. We agreed on that. I was at once happy and sad. He would be away so much of the time. I was worried about the emotional well-being of those of us left behind. But I am a racer at heart, and a racer will never let something that was already happened affect what is happening now. Sorry guys if you see text messages coming from my thing. It's just my mom telling me that she's coming home. Happening now. I wagged my tail enthusiastically, and he smiled at me with a twinkle in his eye. He knew that I understood everything he said. Be good now, he said playfully. Watch over the girls. He hugged little Zoe and kissed Eve gently. But as he turned away from her, she launched herself into his chest and grabbed him tight. She buried herself in his shoulder, her face red with tears. Please come back, she said, her words muffled by his mask. Of course I will, I promised, he said hopefully. After he had gone, Eve closed her eyes and took a deep breath. When she opened her eyes again, she looked at me, and I could see that she was resolved something for herself. I insist he do it, and she and she said to me, I think I will be good for me. It will make me stronger. That was the first race of the series, and race didn't go well to Denny. Though it was fine for Eve, Zoe, and me. We watched on TV, and Denny qualified in the top third of the field. But shortly into a race, he had to return to the pit because of a cut tire. Then the crew member had trouble mounting the new wheel, and by the time Denny returned to the race, he was a lap down and never recovered 24th place. Denny was extremely frustrated. The following few races ended in the same way. A very poor finish. I like the guys, he told us at dinner when he was home from a stretch. When he was home for a stretch. They're good people, but they're not a good pit crew. They're making mistakes, killing our season. If they would just give me a chance to finish, I'd finish well. Can't you get a new crew? Eve asked. I was in the kitchen, next to the dining room. I never stayed in the dining room when they ate, out of respect. No one likes a dog under the table looking for crumbs when they are eating, so I couldn't see them. Where am I again? So I couldn't see them. So I couldn't see them, but I could hear Danny picking up the wooden salad bowl and serving himself more salad. Zoe pushing her chicken nuggets around on her plate. Eat them, honey, Eve said. Don't play with them. It's not the quality of the man. Then he tried to explain. It's the quality of the team. How do you fix it? Eve said. You're spending so much time away. It seems like a waste. What's the point of racing if you can't finish? Zoe, you've only had 2 bites. Eat. The crunching of romaine, Zoe drinking from her sippy cup. Practice, Denny said. Practice, practice, practice. When will you practice? That's a lot of practices. They want me to go down to Sonoma next week. Work with the Apex Porsche people on Infineon. Hard with the pit crew, so there are no more mistakes. The sponsors are getting frustrated. Eve fell silent. Next week is your week off, she said. Finally. I won't be gone long. 3 or 4 days. Good salad. Did you make the dressing yourself? I couldn't read the body language because I couldn't see them. But there are some things a dog can sense. Tension, fear, anxiety from my potion on the kitchen floor. I could sense Eve's anger clearly. She had steeled herself from Denny's racing absence. She was not prepared for his practices in Sonoma, but she was angry and afraid. I heard chair legs scrape as a chair was pulled back. I heard plates begin stacked. Flatware nervously gathered. Eat your nuggets, Eve said again, this time sternly. I'm full, Zoe declared. You haven't eaten anything. How can you be full, said Eve. I don't like nuggets. You're not leaving the table until you eat your nuggets. I don't like nuggets, Zoe shrieked. I don't like nuggets, Zoe shrieked, and suddenly, oh no, the world was a very dark place. Anxiety, anticipation, excitement, all these emotions have a distinctive smell, many of which were coming from the dining room at the moment. After a long silence, Denny said, I'll make her a hot dog. No, you won't. She likes nuggets. She's just doing this because you're here. I'm not making a new dinner every time she decides she doesn't like something. She's asking for the nuggets. Now she'll eat the nuggets. Fury was very distinctive smell too. Zoe started to cry. I went to the door and looked, and Eve was standing at the head of the table, her face red, pinched. Zoe was sobbing into her chicken nuggets. Denny stood to make himself seem bigger. Guys, comment down below if you like chicken nuggets. Making him look bigger. It's important for the head of the pack to be bigger. Often just acting tough can get a member of the pack to back down. You're overreacting, he said. Why don't you go lie down and let me finish up here? You always take her side, Eve barked. I just want her to have a dinner. She'll eat. Fine, Eve insisted. I'll make her a hot dog then. Eve whirled from the table. She almost crushed me when she burst into the kitchen. She threw open the freezer door and snatched a packet of hot dogs, grabbed a knife from the block, and stabbed into the package. And that's when the evening turned really bad. Oh no, oh no, oh no. As if the knife had a will of its own, the blade leapt from the palm between the thumb and fingers. The knife clattered into the sink, and Eve grabbed her hand with a wail. Water drops of blood speckled from the counter. Denny was here in the moment with a dishcloth. Let me see it, he said, peeling the blood-soaked cloth from her hand, which she held by the wrist, as if it were no longer a part of her body, but some alien creature that had attacked her. We should take you to the hospital, he said. No, she bellowed. No hospital. You need stitches, he said, examining the gushing wound. She didn't answer immediately, but her eyes were filled with tears, not from pain, but from fear. She was so afraid of doctors and hospitals. She was afraid that she might go in and they would never let her out. Please, she whispered to Denny. Please, no hospital. He groaned and shook his head. I'll see if I can lose it, he said. Zoe stood next to me, silent, eyes wide, holding a chicken nugget, watching. Neither of us knew what to do. Zoe, baby, Denny said, can you find the bandages for me in the hall closet? We'll get Mommy all patched up, okay? When Zoe returned with the box of bandages, she didn't know where her parents had gone, so I walked her to the bathroom door and barked. Denny opened the door a crack and took the bandages. Thanks, Zoe. I'll take care of Mommy now. You can go play or watch TV. He closed the door. Zoe looked at me for a moment and with concern in her eyes, and I wanted to help her. I walked toward the living room and looked back. She still hesitated, so I went to her. I nudged her and tried again. This time she followed me. I sat before the television and waited for her to turn it on, which she did, and we watched the kids next door, and then Denny and Eve appeared. They saw us watching TV, and they seemed somehow relieved. They sat next to Zoe and watched along, pressed the mute button on the remote. The cut isn't very bad, she said to Zoe. If you're still hungry, I can still make you a hot dog. Zoe shook her head, and then Eve started sobbing. I'm so sorry, she cried. Danny put his arm around her shoulder and held her. I don't want to be like this, she sobbed. It's not me. I'm so sorry. I don't want to be mean. It's not how I am. Beware, I thought the zebra hides everywhere. Oh no. Zoe grabbed her mother and held her tight, which unleashed a flood of tears from both of them. And they were joined by Denny, who hovered over them like a firefighting helicopter, dumping his bucket of tears on the fire. I left not because I felt they wanted their privacy, believe me. I left because I felt that they had resolved their issues, and all was good in the world. And also, I was hungry. I wandered into the dining room and scanned the floor for droppings. There wasn't much, but in the kitchen I found something good, a nugget. Zoe must have dropped it after Eve cut herself. I sniffed the nugget, and I recoiled it in disgust. It was bad. I sniffed again. Foil, foil, disease laden the nugget, and probably all the others on the plate, and definitely turned bad. I felt sorry for Zoe. All she'd had to do was say that the nuggets didn't taste right, and this incident would have been avoided. In racing, they say that your car goes where your eyes go. The driver who cannot tear his eyes away from the wall as he spins out of control will meet the walls. The driver who looks down from the track as he feels his tire break free will regain control of his vehicle. Your car goes where your eyes go. Simply another way of saying that you make your own destiny. I know it's true. Racing doesn't lie. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed this chapter. And guys, I hope you enjoyed your day. And yeah, hope you are enjoying this book too. And guys, see you next time. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment all down below. And guys, I hope you enjoyed this chapter and this video. Bye. See you next time.